Peace, light, and love, people. And grand rise to those that watch my broadcasts. And thanks for joining my lives, everything. Well, today's episode on this, we talk about certain things that was going on in Puerto Rico. And I hear a lot of people, like I see a lot of black people on Instagram. You know, I see a lot of black people talk about, Puerto Ricans, they tell Puerto Ricans go back to where they came from. And I see this a lot, like in New York and the rails and everything. And to me, I say like this. You can tell anybody who wants to go back home, right? But you gotta remember something also, that your enemy is our enemy also. Your enemy is our enemy also. So to any black man or any black woman, should I tell Puerto Rico back to home, back to Puerto Rico? Well, guess what? We're here for a reason, because they forced label on the Boricuas from Puerto Rico into New York City. And that was the first days that you see Boricuas go in New York City. There's a lot of descriptions about it, the links, everything. But a lot of people don't know the history of Puerto Rico, what really happened, and how the Spaniards came about, and how it was all started. So rule number one, we gotta go to the main source before I get to, how Puerto Ricans got to New York City, because it started from a group that saved the colonizers. I'm going back with a time where we got the Moors that went to Spain and traded Spain with gold and gave them knowledge. Because that's how it works. Right? That's how everything works out here. And people slowly don't understand what's really going on. So a lot of people talk like that, announce themselves. I hear people talk about they got knowledge about this and that, and and the sad part about it, the same people that's talking don't know their own history. They don't know their own culture. Certain black people don't know their own culture, so I don't know why they talk about us for. Where they don't know their own culture, right? So I've seen a lot of people sit here and respect my people. So I'm gonna say this, right? Not no bullshit, and I'm not gonna bullshit all around bush with this bullshit, because I hear a lot of people say it. So a little stories. They act like they know our culture, but they don't. But they won't come to our parades and everything. But like I told you before, I'm going to say again. The Moors taught the Spaniards how to get to Puerto Rico. And on top of that, the Moors never conquered Spain. So like I said, I'm going to dive deep. I'm going to the root of the heart of everything before I get to Puerto Rico. Because in order to understand how we got to the United States, we got to go back to our ancestors' days. We got to go back to our ancestors, the Tainos. The Tainos were mostly peaceful people in South America before they arrived in Puerto Rico. But before Tainos, they were called the Orando people. Orando people were the original people of Puerto Rico, because there was no Tainos there at that time. There was Orando people in Puerto Rico. That's facts. You could do the research there too. Right, because a lot of people want to do the research. So, and that's the problem with people now. Right, that's the problem with people. So, I'm going to say this. Do your research before y'all talk about what I'm talking about. Because if you don't do your research, then y'all got problems out here. Really, that means y'all really dumb. The Moors from West Africa went to Spain. Like the Moors was barbarians, but they was Africans also. So they went to Spain and traded gold with Spain. They never conquered Spain. They went there, settled down here, and taught the Spaniards the knowledge. This is a fact. That's why I don't trust Moors. They sneaky as shit. Excuse my language. So what happened is that after the Moors taught the Spaniards a lot of things, the Spaniards came to what you call Puerto Rico. Back in the day, it was called Borican. Borican. Borriken. Right? So they came over here to Puerto Rico, and my ancestors was friendly with them. Like you know, it's like, for example, a new person you don't know comes to your home. You don't know the person, but you be too friendly, too kind. And when you be too kind with somebody, guess what happens? You let the devil into your home. Now when the devil into your home, guess what? The devil gonna kill your family. And so be it does. So these Spaniards were like devils, but they disguised themselves as gods. And my ancestors, one of the chiefs, Aquabana the first, Aquabana was the chief Taino at that moment in time, have open hands, open arms to these Spaniards, too friendly with these people. So that's what really happened. And what happens is that one of the conquistadors named Juan Querido, a free black African Moor, a pirate, poisoned Aquabana, the chief, the first chief, not the nephew, but the leader. So he dies, and Aquabana's nephew stepped up, Bravo, or you can say Aquabana II, took one of the conquistadors and drowned him in the water. This is fact. If you go to Puerto Rico, you will see the statue still there. And he drowned him. That's being said, Aquabana II led the war. His nephew led the war. There was wars going on, and now some of the Tainos had to run to the mountains for safety. And that's what happened. So they ran to the mountains for safety. And the Spaniards still in Puerto Rico, they never left. They took a lot of Tainos in slavery. Some of them killed themselves. The woman was getting raped. That's the reason why you see my skin complexion. You might see a lot of Boricuas have the same skin complexion like me because our ancestors been raped by the Spaniards. But when I check my DNA, I don't have only got 4% Spain in me, but mostly Portugal 30% because Portugal never conquered Puerto Rico. I don't know why the fuck, excuse my language, that a lot of Puerto Ricans say Portugal conquered Puerto Rico. That's a lie because Spain was conquering Portugal, half of Portugal. So if people do knowledge, please go do your homework, man. Sometimes you can't do your homework. And that's what happened. I'm 20% Taino. You can tell by my hair, everything. So later on down the line, 85% Taino's been wiped out. 85% Taino's been wiped out. The rest ran. But they still alive to this day. Like they really alive, but they in the rainforest. They alive. Don't get shit twisted. We not dead. We still alive. It's just it's that the colonizers saying that we dead, but we not. That's what they say. They say, oh, we wiped the ancestors out. They're not here no more. Like the Moors, everything. That's all bullshit lies. We still here. We ain't going nowhere. Because if you go to Puerto Rico, you go to dark-skinned Tainos also. So that's a fact. They not African. They just Tainos. They don't speak Spanish. They speak the native tongue. Africans don't speak the native tongue as Taino Arawak. If you go to Jamaica, you don't see no African features with it. And if you go to Puerto Rico, you won't see nobody got African features. Those are mostly Spaniards that came, not Africans. People, make it make sense. Because you gotta remember people, there was original dark-skinned people here already, not Africans. We merged with dark-skinned people, other natives also. So let's get this shit out of your head. That we're not African descendant. We are Tainos. Some of us are Spain because the Spaniards And the last name says it all. Your last name says it all. Right? And we are Kemetic because the Butai tribe was Kemetic from Egypt. That's why I said a lot of people don't do their research and they just talk out their ass. So, when it comes to this, when it comes to Puerto Rico and everything, now we gotta ask ourselves a question. How we were forced to be here. Now, after the Spaniards took my ancestors' slaves, later on down the line, we was forced to come to America. We didn't want to come to America. We was forced to be here in America. See, the Taino, like myself as Boricua, my forefathers, we were forced to come to America. America was not our land to begin with. So to all y'all Puerto Ricans out there, let you know this is not your fucking land to begin with. We were forced to be here. Our great-grandmother's great-grandfather was here because we went to war with the United States. And if you go back to the story of Pedro Albizu Campos, then that story will sit there and tell you shit to your face that Pedro Albizu Campos was fighting for Puerto Rico independence, and that's a fact. And when we got here, we were forced to talk the language English. Some of us forced, some of us wasn't. But what I remember, I was forced to speak English. And that's a fact. So, I could say fuck America. Excuse me saying I could say fuck America because at the end of the day, I don't even care about America. If my ancestors were forced here in American soil, that means this is not my home. My home is really Puerto Rico or South America, where my ancestors come from. See, people actually think they know the story of Puerto Rico, but they really don't. Puerto Rico was enslaved by the colonizers. Yes, I said it was forced as colonizers in this land. The colonizers took us in this land, and that's what really happened. See, a lot of people swear they have this knowledge. They swear they know about Puerto Rico. They say, "Oh, because I was born in Puerto Rico." No, it doesn't matter you was born there, but do you know Puerto Rico directly? Do you know how Puerto Rico was made and such forth? Anyway, so we were forced to come to America. We were forced to not to know our language, the Arawak language. We were forced to not to raise our flag because if back in the days it's called the gig law, and the gig law is about that if Puerto Rico rise, they Puerto Rican flags, we get killed, get shot, get arrested. Well, sure enough, that's what happened to people in Puerto Rico coming to the United States and to New York City. They was kept protesting, and they had a movement that kept fighting and fighting because how the United States was so racist. The white supremacy was killing my people, arresting my people also. And we had no option to surrender. We had no option to surrender. We had no options to surrender because they had weapons. We had nothing. And to this day, you had young lords and other people in the community of Puerto Rico fighting for Puerto Rico independence from the Jones Act law. Is Puerto Rico still in slavery? Yes. Modern day slavery are. It's called the Jones Act law. And if you do your research, the Jones Act law, where Puerto Rico got paid taxes in order for us to get supplies in Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico's not free. I don't know why people act like Puerto Rico free, but Puerto Rico's not free. Puerto Rico will never be free unless people get together and fight back. But people choose not to fight back against the slavery by the Jones Act law. And this is the point I'm making. People swear they have knowledge themselves, talking about they know about Puerto Rico, but they don't know shit about Puerto Rico. People stay here and talk about, well, Puerto Rico's free. how the fuck we still free? Excuse me, how we free, but we still under the Jones Act law, and then Puerto Rico's not independent. We don't need America for shit. I'm being honest. We don't need America. But America free my people also, and we're still slaves to the United States under the Jones Act law. Like I said, y'all watch my videos. The description below will tell you, what really happened and such forth, and the slavery and everything, when was abolished, supposedly abolished, because I don't believe that slavery was abolished. They just changed the name over time to the birth certificate and social security number, and they still kept us in bondage. Like, they kept our people in bondage for so long with the strong man, with the capital letters in your name. So that's common sense, right? So basically what's going on is that people sit here and act like they know the true event or the true story about Puerto Rico. People sit here, keep calling themselves Puerto Rican, not knowing that's a slave title, because the word Puerto Rican means rich port or port rich. Matter of fact, when you say I'm Puerto Rican, you call yourself a slave, mean port rich, right? So now you take this name, and it's like every application, like for example, every job applications, they want us to put white or black, whatever the case may be is, but they want not allow us to put Taino, because we are Tainos. We're not just Boricuas, we are Tainos. Because Boricua means Borican. I'm not an island. I'm a regular person. I'm a Taino. I am my ancestors. So they will not put that title in no job application, and that's guaranteed facts. People swear up and down that, and like I said before, and I'm gonna say again, if this pinch your nerve, then you got issues yourselves. That means y'all never did no research about Puerto Rico. Y'all never did no research about slavery in Puerto Rico. The sugar cane that you sugar today, that came from Puerto Rico. The word barbecue that people want to steal off us, the word barbecue came from my ancestors called Tainos. It didn't came from nowhere else. It came from my people instead. So again, slavery to this day still exists in Puerto Rico. If you go look up Jones Act law, again, if you go research about the Jones Act law, you see that Jones Act law is still affecting Puerto Rico to this day. The Jones Act law got a chokehold on Puerto Rico. And the Jones Act law is very serious. That's why Puerto Rico is getting damaged. The island Puerto Rico is getting damaged, but you got people that are moving on Puerto Rico want to live tax free. Like I said, like a lot of people want to move to Puerto Rico want to live tax free, but yeah, they think you're free. Yeah, you can be tax free, but you're still not free. So don't try to say you're free because we're not free. Don't say because Puerto Rico is territory of the United States. I don't want to hear that shit. Until you recognize the story, the full story of my story of Puerto Rico, people need to talk shit these days. Because I hear every day from Instagram, Facebook, well, I don't have Facebook, but TikTok, all these commercial, all these little broadcast apps or any type of platforms, people see what they know about Puerto Rico as they know it. But they don't know shit about Puerto Rico because they never visit Puerto Rico. And it's the point I'm making every day in life. People sit here and try to define Puerto Ricans to go back home. Look, if you want to keep America, keep fuck America. Excuse me, because I don't give a shit. And you talk about making America great. How can America be great with still slavery going on? So my forefathers spoke about this against corruption. Pedro Albizu spoke about the corruption in our own land also. He marched. Alright? He marched out there. Fine, that's my forefathers. Pedro Albizu, my forefathers, Puerto Rico, was fighting for Puerto Rico independence. But here's the sad part about life that people know about. His own people killed him. Puerto Rican cops, officers killed him. And this is the reason why I don't. This the reason why I don't trust my own people, because they sit here and still being too friendly with the police. They too friendly with the system. They too friendly with the politics, the Republican, all that good stuff. So my own people sit here, keep doing the same dumb shit. They keep doing the same dumb shit, and that's what it is with my people say. On top of that, a lot of people don't understand where I'm coming from with this. Like, a lot of people sit here and act like they know I'm coming from with this, but they don't. They really don't. Like, they really don't. You know what I mean? They don't, and that's a fact. And that's why I said, during slavery times, we gotta understand the difference between the dark-skinned people in the land and the Boricuas from Puerto Rico. When the Boricuas came to America, they was forced to be here. The colonizers, the Europeans, they did not like us. The Europeans was killing my people under the gag law where we can't raise our Puerto Rico flag. They silenced us. And to this day, they still silence us. They still silence us. Any platform you go to, you speak the truth. Like, for example, TikTok. If you spoke here about TikTok or you speak about certain things, they silence you. They shadow ban you. But here's the bad part about the whole situation. It be your own people helping them out. And silence out people also. See, people say certain things. Again, it's our own people working with these clowns. And that's why I go against my own kind, because you sit here, make fun of your own island, doing parades, but not freeing Puerto Rico. You got all these reggaeton artists that came out of Puerto Rico, boxers and such forth that do shit for Puerto Rico. Excuse me to say that, but I'm being honest. No artist from Puerto Rico helped my people out. No reggaeton artists. No of these artists that came from Puerto Rico helping Puerto Rico out. And Puerto Rico still fighting against the Jones Act law. And we still in slavery in Puerto Rico to this day. I'm not saying with shackles or everything, but I'm saying as port-wise, getting supplies from other places. And that's a shame. Take how you want it, people. I don't give a shit how you feel. I don't give a fuck how you feel about me. At the same time, we gotta get together. We gotta free Puerto Rico from the Jones Act law. If you don't know what the Jones Act law is, go do your research. It's called Do Your Research about the Jones Act law. The colonizers kept this law on us for a very long time. That's why Puerto Rico don't have certain things, because of the law called the Jones Act law. And that's my country. That's where I'm from. And I speak for my country. I'm like my forefathers, mostly. Right? I am my forefathers. So nobody gonna sit here and tell me any old bullshit that, you're not gonna tell me nothing new. You're not gonna sit here and play that game of knowing of, I don't know about Taino. I don't know why my forefathers find Puerto Rico independence. Please. And this told y'all, all y'all Puerto Ricans out here that's watching, gonna be watching this video pretty soon. Y'all need to shut the fuck up, Y'all need to shut the hell up and go about freeing Puerto Rico. I can speak of certain things, but y'all sit here, still love the white man product. Y'all still loving the colonizers so much I put white. Besides calling yourself a Taino. But you call yourself Puerto Rican, you call yourself Boricua, but not your ancestors' name, or reclaiming what was stolen from you. And this is the problem with people. Y'all scared to reclaim your ancestors, but yet instead of y'all want to reclaim European. So if, like I said, if you go into the wars of Puerto Rico, there's a book out there. It's called "The War Against All Puerto Ricans." Right? It's a war called "The War Against All Puerto Ricans," where we was forced, and we went to war with the United States. Don't get shit twisted. We went to war with the United States back in the days. We were the first people. No bullshit. Like I said, you could do your research about this. We were the first people, the first Puerto Ricans, or first Boricuas, whatever you want to call us. We were the first people put the Puerto Rican flag on Statue of Liberty. We went to war. And then Malcolm X met the Young Lords. Malcolm X, like I said, everything boils up together. Everything come together as one. Malcolm X, when we was getting made fun of because our language, we was getting harassed by black people too. Don't get twisted. We was harassed by black people in New York. We was. Some of us getting harassed by black people in New York. It's a fact. Because if you look into the story, you see the story correct. And black people did not know that we were slaves also. They did not know about us because we were the babies. We're the babies who come from Puerto Rico to the United States. And that's a fact, people. Like, if you sit there and think about it, we were the babies that come, we were the babies that was coming to Puerto Rico. And we didn't know the white man was the devil at the time. Like I said before, I'm going to say again, I kept the same topic, I'm going to keep it going. Then afterwards, then black people find out that, okay, this is what happened to these people right here. We was going through slavery. So when black people know that we was going through slavery, how we was getting treated wrong, that's when the blacks and Puerto Ricans united in New York City. The first time ever, blacks and Puerto Ricans got along with each other. We was getting along, we fought against the colonizers. So I'm not discrediting nobody or anything about this, but I'm saying the facts. Black people didn't like us in the beginning because of the way we talk Spanish, and they thought we was somebody else, like the Spaniards. We wasn't. So the dark-skinned people seen us as good people. And when they saw how we was getting treated, that's when the Black Panthers came out with the Young Lords and such forth. It was a movement that was going on with the Black Panthers and the Young Lords. So to be honest, our enemy divided the blacks and Latinos. They divide us. To this day, they still divide us. That's why we can't get along with each other. They divided the Latinos and black people. They divide dark-skinned people with the Latinos. They want us to hate one another. And to this day, they still doing it. And the same ones who took us to slavery made us go against each other. They made us hate one another. They made us not to love one another no more. And these the people that talk about they good people. They talk about equality. They talk about justice and freedom. I mean, make it make sense. The colonizers that didn't care about us. Just to be real we are, and I'm going to be honest, take how you want it. They really didn't care about us in Puerto Rico, and we got to land, they was killing my people off. It's called the gag law. You can do your research about this, because the gag law don't lie, right? So, if we say look at it, right, about the law and everything, it was illegal for us to raise our flags. That's the reason why you got another flag called the resistance flags. Right? It's called the resistance flags. It says in 1948, Puerto Rico's gag law, also known as Law 53, made it illegally to own or display the Puerto Rican flag along with other expressions of Puerto Rican nationalism. This law, enacted to suppress the independence movement, was in effect from 1948 to 1957. It was eventually repealed because it was deemed unconstitutional. The consequences it was facing 10 years in prison or a $10,000 fine. There was violated our First Amendment. The law directly violated the First Amendment rights of Puerto Ricans who had been granted U.S. citizenship in 1917. Right? So, what I'm saying is that we was going through so much hell in America that people don't know about. Look up the gag law, G-A-G law of Puerto Rico and see what they did to our people. Except for judging our people because you're black and you don't like us because we light-skinned, why don't you go ahead and do the research about the gag law? Right? We went through hell with these people. And we raise our flag when we get shot, killed, and murdered or imprisonment for a long time. This is the fact. Hello?